Yeah, shake it up. I still won.
I don't know. That's a tie, no?
No.
How do you balance support with independence and learning?
I think establishing a boundary of when I want to study with you, but I'm pretty independent.
Yeah.
I used to not be as independent just because I feel like the system was different and it was easier for me to try to like align my studying with like having like sessions with you. But nowadays I just kind of like do it on my own, and then I'll ask him, hey, like, would you be down to like review path or something like that?
Definitely. She's super nerdy with it. She made a creative shot reference earlier today.
I did.
Chromosome 5. She's super independent with her studying.
Yeah.
I think once I mastered my very unique style of studying, I got really independent because
unique is crazy.
It's a very unique style.
And you're not the only one.
Who else does it?
I promise you there's other people.
Cool.
I mean, I do it too, but not as much now.
My memory or my learning is probably akin to sketchy, if you use that. And it's just basically really imaginative. So for every disease, every medication, almost every pathology.
Making your own little sketches.
Yeah, I have my own little sketches. So every illness has its own unique design in my mind. And it's how I remember everything about everything. I don't know a lot of people who do that. Besides sketchy. You don't do it as much, right? There's no way.
Well, I feel like when I get into my step studying,
You're gonna do it?
I'm gonna do it.
Yes, the best time to do it is now. Because it's reinforcing the step studying.
I just feel like the way this works, it's just the blocks are different. Because remember, like everything's separate.
Everything is separate.
So it's not like I'm learning the path, the farm, and the MOA all like in once to be able to apply that. It's gonna be like a sporadic.
That's true. Because I used to learn everything at once, so I put everything in together at once. That's true.
Yeah, my system like in the DR it's different because usually it's like they go straight out of high school, so they kind of skip that interim of like the university because they'll incorporate it. So I'm obviously ahead because I had my degree already and I had credits. But now it's just like it's still on a like class per class basis. We don't get more into like, I feel like it transitions similar to the States and other Caribbean schools once we hit rotations and stuff like that. Because we'll have classes and then our exams for those classes will be equivalent to like the shelves of like the rotations and stuff like that.
Right. Completely right.
Which ends up being a little harder in my opinion because it's like it's a more, like instead of just having a core and having a shelf, you have exams throughout the entire core and an exam at the end of shelf.
That's very true. So the big thing is she did mention she goes to school in the DR. I went to school in Barbados. I think it would be considered non-traditional.
Extremely non-traditional.
Yeah, so we're non-traditional medical students and non-traditional. I guess once you become a resident, you're a resident. Period. But it was a non-traditional path because it wasn't through the U.S. MD, USI DO program. We're IMG, International Medical Graduates. Born, raised in the U.S., went out of the U.S. for medical education, and came right back.
Yes, sir. Okay. Also, I messed up earlier. I said at the end of the core, not at the end of the shelf, that you take another exam. Also, they have like 2 phases of rotations. So like my first phase of rotations, God willing, I will be in by the end of this year. And then before the second phase of rotations, I have another standardized exam that I have to pass of theirs. That's the weird thing. I feel like even if my specialties or interests are different than what your specialty is, we still find a way to complement each other.
We do. And
our interests still remain very similar. I just feel like sometimes the difference would be, for instance, like, I don't know, like if I match neuro, it complements PM&R.
It very much does. She'd be diagnosing and I'd be managing.
Yeah. Basically. Or even EM, if I wanted to do like a fellowship within EM, I could also kind of match it to something that would complement
Luna. I don't know, the vision board is awesome. We got everything on here. We have money that we're gonna save up, the studying, reading the Bible, having our goals,
research,
traveling, research. Everything's pretty good. Yeah, everything's pretty good. In terms of managing the debt's the debt. You can't really do anything about it until you graduate residency.
right?
So that's just what it is. Loans fall into the debt because that's what's putting you in debt. And just budget as a team. Try not to do anything extravagant.
Yeah.
Stay poor even 3 years after you become an attending,
Right.
so that you pay everything off and actually have a life with low debt to debt free.
Even like, so for instance, even when I'm in school, I'm obviously not spending money outside of like essentials, stuff for the dog, or just like groceries. And like even for you, you don't really spend a lot of money. Well, you do like do things socially. But
Yeah, but that's only if I'm invited out.
yeah.
And my friends only see me once a week.
It's still frequent, but okay.
Yeah.
But anyways, so I feel like that lifestyle, for instance, allows us to like when I'm here or when we have vacation together, we don't, because even though we're not really splurging. It's more like we budget to be able to like eat or like do things. Like we did a few activities this time around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're just like experiencing life with each other, pretty much. Okay, should you merge finances early or keep them separate?
Well, I mean, this we do have to still like hash out because we're not necessarily on the same page. But obviously, like we're not married yet. We don't really have kids involved. I do think that's more important when you get like to those like milestones. But we have spoken about. We did speak about having a separate account that we both put money in. That's for saving. Like we don't spend on that account. So we both will each have. I think this will end up being the dynamic between us, honestly. Yeah. Like, so for instance, now it'll be like saving. So if we open up a savings account, it doesn't affect your credit. You can co-own the savings account without an issue. And then we put money in there. And for instance, down the line, we could use that account for family vacations. We could use that account for the kids, like stuff like that. And then we'll still have our own individual accounts that we can, either talk about down the line, like contributing more or contributing to other stuff like splitting the bills or something like that.
Definitely. I mean, I feel like inherently there's some things that women are just better at, like managing a house and things like that. So maybe an account that's and the kids. So maybe an account that's dedicated to all that. And then we just talk about when the money is released and things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the men, I feel like men will be better at like saving the finances, managing the finances, and the women will be better at spending it.
Putting generals on it is crazy.
Yeah. Sorry to put generals and stereotypes.
Be careful. I also don't mind that because I do like, I'm a little more old fashioned with the idea of like him being the head of the household, the provider, like, so I personally would not mind that because I don't see it as a way like he's not controlling in a way that like, oh my god, like he's gonna control all my finances. Like, no, I don't see it like that way at all. I just think it's like managing roles, because in a partnership you need to manage roles and like responsibilities.
Yeah, and I don't do anything without running it through her first.
And vice versa.
Unless it's a surprise for her.
And
Even
vice
then,
versa.
she still knows. You hurt your head.
It didn't hurt though. Okay, but I don't try to know.
Yes, you do.
I'm very intuitive. I can't help it. Maybe it's my trauma. Maybe
Next question. Is couples matching worth it?
No.
No, not at all.
Not at all.
It messes
Unless
up.
you're in the same specialty, in my opinion.
In the same specialty.
Either in the same specialty, but either way, I think personally, it boils down to if you've already networked in whatever department you want to match in outside of the match. Like beforehand, like let's say you do rotations there and the department has met you both as a couple and they want you both on board.
Yeah.
I think that's the only way that it would work. Because if not, it could really hold back the other partner. Not like that one's better than the other. It's just like in terms of the ranking, the way it goes is literally if you're not ranked exactly the number, like let's say a hospital ranks you third instead of second, that you rank them, that'll literally start the whole rank over again for your partner and you, because it's like you're a unit.
Yeah, and that's what makes it, because it does more harm to you than good.
Yeah.
It's not like if one of you are ranked higher, it'll bring the other one up. It's more like if one's ranked lower, it'll bring the other one down.
Exactly.
Which is the really bad part about it.
Which it could end up working out for people. Some people really benefit from it, and I do think that the idea is freaking adorable.
Yeah. So there's a cute thing. It sounds like you're meant to be together forever if you couples match. That's like love and medicine.
It's okay. We can pretend to couples.
We can pretend years apart. But yeah, I even have personal friends of my own. One's going for anesthesia. The other one's going for internal medicine, and they didn't do the couples match because of that very same reason.
Exactly. And they're still gonna both match. Like it's not like a bad thing if you don't couples match.
Yeah.
Remember, the fiance is a lawyer.
Who's the lawyer?
They're also a power couple.
Oh, I remember you telling me this.
I know. He's in residency, and she graduated law school like last year.
Where's she doing residency at? Isn't law school amazing? Like, you get paid while you're in it, and you get paid immediately after.
Couldn't be us.
What do you mean couldn't? It should be.
It should be, but it couldn't be. Because apparently saving lives requires that you have to suffer more. What was I saying? I think his residency, they moved to North Carolina.
This is a good transition. How do you manage jealousy when partners interact with classmates and attendings? What happened?
I mean, I'm not a jealous person. For me, it's just I'm big on respect. So if I see something that I wouldn't do to him, like hypothetically speaking, then obviously like I would have an issue. You do tend to be a little jealous sometimes.
Me?
Yeah, you do.
I see. I was gonna let you slide with that. I'm not a jealous person comment, but now.
No.
She's the most jealous.
No. I'm not.
She's the most jealous ever.
Take your mic away.
She literally almost got in a fist fight.
Okay, someone disrespected me like point blank. Like the girl was with her man, I'm with him, and she does a double take at him in front of my face.
She like pushed me into the store. I'm like, bro, what's going on? What's going on right now?
That's just territorial. It's not the same thing.
I think it is.
No, that's like if you ask a woman, like if a female were to have seen and heard what I just said, like they would tell you also it's territorial, because it's like respect. Like yeah, I get it. You're eye candy.
I am.
But don't stare like in front of me and
sweet.
disrespect me.
Yeah, my arms could be bigger.
depending on the situation. I mean, right now we were talking about that. Of course, it wouldn't happen until we get married and we like come up with that life plan that we were gonna do. Um, it is possible. I think it's mainly up to the woman and how much she can take. I do feel like in basics, it does make it harder. I think if you were to have a kid, it'd probably be a little more feasible during rotations because even though in my school it's a little different, the concept is still the same. Like you go to the hospital, less class time, more of a like work schedule comparable.
I would, you know, somebody who got pregnant and had a kid.
I do. It was during basics, but it was in my old school. So again, like the block scheduling. She, I don't remember if she was the one. Well, I did know more than one girl. One girl, I believe, she unfortunately had like her plan. So it was on another island, Antigua, and her plan was to go back home to the States to give birth, but unfortunately she did have a medical crisis and she was forced to give birth on the island. And I think, I mean, it still worked out for her. And then
Is that baby a citizen?
Fix it or leave.
Okay, cursor.
How to move forward, fix it or leave.
Bueno. So what I would say is signs that a relationship isn't working is if you're not submitting that research poster that you should have submitted a while ago. If you're failing your exams.
Is this a joke
If you're
to
not, no, I'm so serious. If you're not getting adequate sleep like you should be. If you're as stressed at work as you are at the hospital. If you have an exam that week and then your partner argues with you. If they don't respect that you're trying to focus because your exams and your life is on the line because if you fail an exam then you lose your license regardless of the 5 years that you put into it previously or the 12 years in total that you put in school.
Do you have something to get off your chest?
No.
Oh, okay. Because none of these
are you.
Okay.
Okay.
Just making sure, because you're very, you wasted no time. Like, you have those responses ready.
No, these are things that I look for. You know, you don't give me no signs, so we're still together. But
wow, thank you so much. I'm so grateful.
Ain't no problem. But yeah, these are things that you... If people lunge at you or jump at you.
You like it.
So yeah, these are things that you do want to look for. You don't want to have anything that's affecting your productivity or your happiness. You got to remember that being a doctor is the number one unaliving profession that there is. Being a medical student is the number one self-unaliving education that there is.
Absolutely.
You can't have any more stress adding on to that. You just might not make it.
Yeah.
Or to the weekend. You gotta listen to that new album. But yeah, so that's pretty much it. Those are the signs. If your work is taking a downtick, because anybody who comes into your life should be adding into your life, where they need to be subtracted from your life.
I mean, there are going to be bumps in the road where a relationship might take up more space or more energy. But I think the key difference is whether it becomes chronic or stays acute because of whatever the stressor or situation is.
Exactly.
Like, we have had very big things that have caused a lot of stress and tension in this relationship, but it's always ended up bringing us closer.
Exactly.
Like, it's never been something that, I don't know, drifted us away permanently.
Exactly.
So, I think that's the key.
And that's the closing of the video. Again, I'm Dr. Flexfit. I'll have the handle down here so you guys can follow the Instagram.
I'm sorry. I get awkward. I'm sorry. My handle, to be determined, it's coming soon. He'll put it here. Anyway.
Now you're going to have to make one after this video. You're leaving today.
I'll make one.
Alright.
What the? Come here.
I got you.
Do it again. Now let's pack. We gotta go.
Yeah, we gotta go. Later, guys. Bella's leaving the country today.